The salt marshes are made up of a complex ecosystem that is vital to marine life. There are oyster beds all over the place that are ideal for storing food for inshore species. To successfully fish the marshes, an angler must be aware of their surroundings. In this video, you will learn several tips to help you become a better inshore fisherman. Know where to fish in salt marshes. Finding the fish is only half the battle. Once you've figured out how to find them, you can focus on more important issues like knowing what they eat and how to catch them. Anglers should concentrate their efforts in specific areas of each marsh. You will have more success finding and catching fish if you target these marsh hotspots. Mouths of marsh creeks. At high tide, bait fish such as mullet, shrimp, and other fish move into the grass to feed. This is one of the reasons you see redfish tailing in the grass at high tide. Many of the species will congregate in creek mouths as the tide recedes, waiting for the bait fish to be swept by them. At these ambush points, redfish and trout have evolved into excellent hunters. Fish near the current because the fish will sit outside of it. Oyster shoals, oyster bars. The first thing you'll notice in the marsh waters at low tide is the abundance of oyster shoals. These are excellent fishing spots. They commonly house shrimp, baitfish, and small crustaceans that fish enjoy. The best times to fish these areas are when the oyster bar is covered with water. Honey holes. These deep holes hold water whether you're fishing at high or low tide. These holes protect fish from changes in water temperature that occur in shallow waters. Baitfish will swim through these holes, bringing in the fish you're after. When you find your honey holes, these will almost always be the first places you fish. Flooded shoreline. If you enjoy fishing in marshes, you will enjoy fishing on flooded shorelines. Most of the time, you can sight fish the shallows for tailing reds. Anglers will cast their lines in these flooded areas in the hopes of catching a redfish. Redfish target these areas during high tides because there is an abundance of food in the marsh grass, such as shrimp and crabs. Choke points. Choke points are the last prime area for fishing in the salt marshes. These are the areas where water drains into creeks. This draining brings shrimp, mullet, and other baitfish from their hiding places in the grass, allowing reds and other species of fish to feed. Look for bottlenecks or bends in a creek where you know everything upstream must pass through this point. Posting up and fishing the bottom for trout with live bait or floating shrimp can produce good results. Know how to fish the salt marshes. The ability to catch fish can make or break your fishing trip. The first thing all anglers must do is learn about tides and how to use currents to their advantage. This is a tactical advantage because baitfish frequently follow the currents. Redfish, flounder, and trout use currents as a dinner bell. They will sit upright outside an area of current and wait for their prey to ambush them. Finding the water movement and you will find the fish is a good rule I always follow. You want to be fishing downstream when the tide is falling. You should fish upstream when the tide is rising. Many anglers prefer not to use live bait and instead opt for artificial bait. This enables you to cover more ground and catch more fish. When using live bait, you must wait for the fish to approach you. This can lead to a slow fishing day. Covering a lot of ground often increases your chances of catching fish. Fishing with artificial lures while leaving live bait on the bottom is a great way to cover all your bases. It is a good idea to see your surroundings at low tide if you are in a new area of the salt marsh. This will allow you to pinpoint your fishing locations and identify any obstacles you may encounter. You want to be safe and protect your boat, so scouting a new area is important for a successful day of fishing. Thanks for watching. For more content like this, like, share, and subscribe.